really is the leafiest thing ever to go into Edmonton and kick the crap out of the Edmonton Oilers for 3 straight games and be on top of the world and look as good as they've looked in the last, like we said last time, 15 years. Then go into Vancouver and drop 2 in a row. First time all season that they've lost back-to-back games in regulation. And as is usually the case with Leafs Nation and fans and media who cover this team, there's all kinds of narratives going around. There's the group of people who are upset and like, this is the real them, same old inconsistency issues, trade William Nylander, whatever. There's another group of people, and this is the camp that I'm in, which is, listen, they've played a ton of hockey. Like this schedule is insane. It's every other night. And it's like, it's a lot. And they looked out of gas. To me, they looked out of gas for the first Vancouver game, and then in the later periods last night, I thought they looked out of gas. Plus, Thatcher Demko was excellent. What camp are you in?
I'm in the, man, it's tough being a hockey fan. It's tough being a Leaf fan, and it's tough trying to discuss where the team's at with other people because, and I quote, after the game last night, Morgan Rielly says, "We need to look at ourselves in the mirror." And it's like, I know sports fandom doesn't make any sense, and that's what makes it so great in a way, is because you can be irrational, you can have your own opinion, you can agree, you can disagree, but it's amazing how you can play, like you said, the 3 best games you've played in forever, and then lose 2, and it's like everything we talked about them dominating the division, people saying that there's no competition, it's out the window. It's gone now. It's like, we need to stop taking things that happen in a series, in a game, and applying it to the rest of the season in the playoffs and start dissecting it by a game-by-game basis. It's like, this is the NHL. You can lose to the worst team in the league any given night. You could come out and have your best game and have your worst game. It's hard to be in a definitive place of what your opinion is. My opinion is where you're at. This is a long season.
Yep.
You're playing every other night. You're playing against teams that are like the Vancouver Canucks flat out looked desperate. And you don't blame them because you look at their record, 11-15-2 or whatever. And they had to go out and win some hockey games. And the Leafs just have been kind of on cruise control winning hockey games in this division. And it's like, you just ran into a team that was more desperate and played better and had a good goaltender.
Well, if you look at, to your point about desperation, if you look at this division underneath the Leafs, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Like, it's wide open. Like, the Calgary Flames, 2 coaches fired in the NHL this year, both in this division.
Yeah.
And it's for that reason. It's because playoff spots 2, 3, and 4 in this division are wide open. They're wide open.
100%. And also, you take into account, it's like, if you're going to make it to a conference final, this is the year.
Yes.
This is the year to do it because you just need to beat your division.
Yep.
You just need to focus. Right now, if you're a North Division team, you're looking at the Maple Leafs going, that's the team we need to beat. So that's the benchmark right now. You need to find a way to put together your team and a game plan in order to beat the best team in the division. And that's how you get to the conference final. That's why teams are so desperate and are hiring coaches who are 75 years old. Is because this is, if you're going to get to a conference final, and Canadian teams have not been very successful over the past couple of years. When's the last time a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup? 1993?
Yeah.
Or even gone to a conference final. When was the last team? The Senators?
No, the Winnipeg Jets.
The Winnipeg Jets. Like,
yeah.
It's just like a Canadian team hasn't sniffed the final in forever.
No.
So it's like, if you're going to get it done this year, this is the year because you just need to focus on your teams and your divisions. And right now, the Leafs are the benchmark. So teams are going to start adjusting their game plan, adjusting their roster to beat the best team in the league.
Well, that and they're bitten by the injury bug. Like, you watch Austin Matthews, right? Like, he's not 100% at all.
No,
he's not 100% at all. Like, they moved him on the power play because he doesn't have the velocity in his shot because he's got a bad wrist.
Yeah, and you look at like you look at the Canucks too. It's like they kind of they showed a couple clips last night during the intermission that they were kind of irritating them a little bit.
Yep.
They were slashing them. They were finishing their checks on them. They were kind of giving them an extra little cross check. It's like, you need to stop the best player in this division right now, and that's how you slow this team down. It's just, I think every game for the rest of this year, you're going to start to see other teams in this division do what they think they have to do to slow them down. And that's pissing off Austin Matthews and giving him that extra little poke to get him off his game. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. I think the crowd that after the Oilers series was like, oh, this is concerning, and they're going to be like the Lightning were. Like, these people should be happy. Like, you should be happy about what just happened in Vancouver, because it's a reminder to everyone, even them, the guys on the team, that you got to show up every night. And what you were just saying, like, you're the measuring stick, you're the benchmark in this division, and these teams are going to get up to play you, and they have to win these games. Like, you look at the Canucks and Flames specifically, okay? Two teams that have had crappy seasons thus far. They're right in it. They're right in it.
Yeah, 100%.
They're right in it. Same thing with the Habs, same thing with the Oilers. And then you got the Winnipeg Jets. Hell, I would go as far as to say to you that if the Ottawa Senators got some form of competent goaltending, they'd be in the middle of it too, probably.
You're on a 3-game, 4-game heater away from being in the conversation.
Yes.
Like, you're not out of it right now. I think the Leafs have done a good enough job this season to kind of secure themselves as a top seed or a 2 seed if they kind of slow down a little bit. I think they've had a good enough start to kind of warrant themselves a spot in the playoffs right now. But yeah, you're right. Like, you look at all these teams, you could have a below 500 record in regulation and make the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
And play the Leafs and have a chance to win the series.
Yeah.
Like, I just, the whole narrative, the Leafs not having enough competition, it's like, that sounds so dumb now.
Yeah.
You're a 2 or 3 game slide away from just your whole narrative of your season changing. Like, let's just stop trying to take every win the Leafs have and just like somehow manifest it to like the playoffs. It's like, no, they lost 2 games in a row. They can lose 3. Playoffs.
Well, and it's just like it is frustrating. Like, what you're saying is so true. It's like, it is frustrating, like, going on the roller coaster ride of the ever changing narrative, but that's just part of pro sports. Like, you look at the Oilers. Okay. Like, it was doomsday after the 3-game series against the Leafs. It's over. Trade everybody. McDavid wants out. McDavid wishes he was a Toronto Maple Leaf. And what do? They go out and put together a nice win over the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, it's good.
Look at the Montreal Canadiens. Beat the Winnipeg Jets 7-1 or whatever it was.
Yep.
Ass kicking.
Yep.
So I just like, it's just all part of the journey. And listen, the Leafs are the Leafs. Like, we were talking before we started recording here, and you said it, and you're totally right. If you think that, like, the Leafs are going to go into the first round against one of these other teams and just steamroll them in a sweep, not happening.
No
happening.
Way.
Yeah, no chance.
No, it's that's why the whole, you know what the problem is? It's sports media. Like, me and you, we have a podcast. We got to think of something to talk about every week, twice a week. You got guys who are on the radio every single day. So you can't go on there and be like, oh, screw fans, screw this. Yeah. It's whatever. Like, people have to come up with a narrative to talk about. I get that. That's a part of media. But it's just like, it's amazing how things can switch on a dime in this league. And and me personally, and everyone tries to set up the I told you so narrative, right? It's like the Leafs won 3 games in a row. They look great, but there's the section of the fan base that are like, they aren't that good. And then they lose 2 games in a row. And it's like, told you. Yeah. Told you. They lost 2 straight games.
Well, that's what I was saying off the top. Like, there's that segment of the fan base, and I'm seeing it all over Twitter today, of people who are like, this is them, the inconsistency. And it's like, I get where that comes from. Like, we've talked about PTSD a lot on this podcast and what it's like being a Leaf fan. So I get where that comes from. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think that's what this is. I think the NHL is a well-balanced league, and I think you're not going to win every night. And I think when you're a team like them that has a ton of injuries, and you're playing a team like the Vancouver Canucks, who are like, we need to get our shit together here. Yeah, we need to get our shit together here because we got to get back in the playoff mix.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Don't forget what happened to the Canucks the last time the Leafs played them. They just absolutely embarrassed them.
Yes.
And the Canucks seemed like a joke. and then they win 2 big games against the best team in the division, and now they have confidence.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Hockey is so different than every other sport. Every other sport requires like possession. Like there's basketball, they got 24 seconds to shoot. There's football, you're on the offense, you got 4 downs. There's baseball, there's a team on off. Hockey is just random.
Yeah.
It's random. The puck is just everywhere. It's going everywhere. There's different shifts changing every 45 seconds. It's so hard to take a little sample size of a hockey series in the case of this season or a couple games in a row and try to just apply it to the rest of the year. The way I see it, and I'm sure you can agree, is they get in the playoffs. Everything that just happened previously it's over.
It's over. It's a brand new season.
It's over.
It's a brand new season.
You got to
100%.
ride the wave of the season and you got to look at things from a broader level. It's like, okay, they're 18-6-2, great record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Phenomenal. What
first
more could
time
you ask?
first time all season that they've lost back-to-back games in regulation.
That's pretty damn good.
Yes.
Like that's pretty damn good, you know? It's like would you like them to continue their streak? 100%. But it's just this is a league where things can just happen. And when day 1 of the playoffs start, it's all that's gone. It's a new thing. So you got to try to look at what the Leafs are better at overall. Like they're better defensively. Yeah. They win more battles, I think.
Yes.
Their goaltending, their depth of goaltending this year has been pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
They've got good depth up and down their lineup. Like the 4th line has really clicked lately with Spezza and Boyd. The 3rd line of Mikheyev, Hyman, and Engvall looks really good. Like when Simmons comes back, you got an opportunity to maybe move Kerfoot around and try out some different things. Or maybe you start Simmons to get him back up to speed on the 4th line for the first couple of games. Like I'm with you. Like the sky is not falling to me, and I think people who thought that this was just like they were just going to spend the rest of the season just like pulling a Tampa Bay Lightning and coasting and like winning the division by like 15 points or whatever, it's not going to happen.
No,
it's
absolutely
not going to happen.
And I don't know if you want to bring up Freddie right now. But
yeah, well, we were gonna get into that. Before we get into that, though, I want to ask, like, I just want you to like talk a little bit more, like, why does the Rielly quote bother you so much?
Oh boy,
this is me trying to get him going, ladies and gentlemen.
This is quote look in the mirror, as Morgan Rielly would say.
Hold on, I got another one here. that I want to read to you. I got another one queued up right here. It's on us to be in control of how we play.
It's just, I think it's a lot of it's just like hockey culture, hockey isms.
Yeah, yes.
It's like, what is he really going to say after the game? Yeah. Like, oh, we've been playing great, so screw it. We had 2 bad games. He's got to like kind of own up responsibility, couple bad pinches.
Well, that's another thing too. So I was going to segue into that, continue, but we're going to talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, like he had a couple bad pinches, couple not great plays on the defensive end. You can't really, like, what is he really going to say? But it's just, I find it so funny that the pressure a hockey player feels to talk to the media being like, yeah, we really got to look at ourselves in the mirror. It's like, you've had a pretty good year, man. It's like, maybe you're just tired.
Yeah.
Maybe you've just been playing hockey games every other day for 2 months.
Like, I know what you're trying to say. And I know what you're trying to say. It's like, yes, the what's he gonna say after the game? I totally understand and acknowledge that, but it's part of the problem. Like I rant and rave all the time about like the NHL and like the culture of the players and how literally like the NHL for the most part is so boring. Like it's so boring. Like there's no interesting drama going on with players. There's like you don't see anything even close in the same ballpark as what goes on in the NBA and the NFL. Like nothing remotely close. So you see that last night, like a cliche comment like that last night, and you're like, all right.
I know.
I want to talk about him for a second. Him being Morgan Rielly. He's a sketch bag. Like honestly, like thank God he's got TJ Brody. That dude just makes ill-advised pinch after ill-advised pinch, and he goes into the offensive zone and he rarely does anything. Like it's just, I find more often than not, and I'm not saying that he's been terrible. That's not what I'm saying.
No, you're not. You're not saying that.
No, but I find more often than not that I watch him every night, and I'm like, dude, thank God they picked up TJ Brody to cover this guy's ass. Like,
And that's
night
probably
in and night
one
out.
of the reasons why they got him.
Yeah.
is because he's been looking for that protection. Remember when Ron Hainsey was his protection?
Oh, Jesus.
Like it was
Cody
like go out,
Cece.
yeah, go out and get a guy who can actually protect him. And I feel like if you do a deep dive into Morgan's career, it's like he came in with some offensive prowess. In that one, he had a 1 year, I forget it was last year or 2 years ago, where he had a great year points wise. But it's like he's kind of been in the middle of like the guy's got unbelievable speed. He does have some offensive prowess, but he's not a guy who's like one of the top point getters from defensemen in the league. Like it's just there is nobody I've seen on this team over the past 3 to 4 years who comes in, breaks over the blue line, flying, and then he just boom right over the net.
Yeah.
There's the glass. It's out of the zone.
No,
There's an odd man rush for the other team.
Or when when they're on the power play and he does the same thing, he wires it from the blue line and it's just right over the net. And you're just like, if I was a coach, I'd be like, go in the hallway. Every time you miss the net, 10 push-ups in the hallway.
Yeah, just like the
what are we doing?
Yeah, Major League where Willie Mays Hayes, every time it's a foul ball, he's got to hit 10 push-ups. But
if I can just make one comment before we move on and talk about Freddie. This is my weekly I appreciate TJ Brody comment, because there were a few times in that Edmonton series where the Oilers would get it back to Tyson Barrie and he would just wire it right into someone's shin pads.
Tyson Barrie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was the big off-season acquisition.
Every time I look at Tyson Barrie or Alexander Kerfoot, I'm like, yeah, Kadri could have been our third line center.
Yeah, I know.
Nazem could have been our third line center.
I know. I said that a couple weeks ago when I was on the radio. I was like, honestly, I think Kerfoot has been way better as a he's better as a winger.
Yeah.
But the dude, when I watch him, it's like all I see is like he should have a sign on the back of his jersey that says they traded Nazem Kadri for me, because that's all I see.
Yeah, or just player one because he's another guy.
Yes.
Yeah. When you start creating a guy in Chell and it's just player one.
Yeah.
Or first name.
Yes.
Or whatever.
But you haven't like boosted any of his. Like,
no, you haven't made him 99 overall.
99 overall.
And score 150 goals in the regular season. You've all done it. Don't tell me you haven't done it.
I know.
You've created a player and made him break Gretzky's record for a season.
Yeah, 100%.
Bullshit if you haven't. 100%. Bullshit.
All right, let's talk about Freddie. Where to begin with Freddie? We know how you feel about Freddie. Like you're a Freddie stan.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of in the middle on Freddie, and it's just like the second game against the Canucks was the perfect Freddie game because he makes some big saves, but he also just
got sniped on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
he got sniped on.
Right.
Like
so
late in the
like,
game, yeah.
So to me, it really comes down to, do you think you can win a Stanley Cup with Frederick Andersen? And I'm going to be honest with you, dude, at this point, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, it's amazing how, like, when we talk about Nylander, it's like you're where I am on Freddie and I am where you are. Like, it's like the opposite. It's like, I just don't think they have a better option. That's why I like him. But it's just, he's got a 2.8 goals against average, 909 save percentage. Not great.
Yep.
He's got a great win-loss record.
Yes.
For sure. But it's just those goals where he just gets like sniped on or he gets beat short side or through the 5-hole. And it's just, that's where you've seen him for so long now, where it's like you've always been waiting for that next gear.
Yeah.
But it's never got there. I don't dispute the fact that people don't believe that you can win a Stanley Cup with him. That you have a point 100%, but it's just where I only come from a place where it's like, what are you going to do post Freddie? That's why I like him. I think he's stable in that sense, but like I don't dispute the point where people are like, nah, he's not that good.
Yeah.
But I just think he's the best you got right now.
I just watch him and like some of the goals he gives up, and it just takes me back to like previous playoff series. Like I just see like some of the goals that Canucks got, and it's like, you'll be in like game 4 of a playoff series, and like they've got a chance to go up 3-1, and he just lets in a softie, and it's 2-2.
No, I can't. Right. I can't dispute he's been mediocre in the playoffs. Yeah. Like he has been. It's a tough spot at a goaltending position in this league right now. It's like you got to have a guy who can get you through the regular season and show up in the playoffs. Like there's only a handful of guys in the league who can do it. Andre Vasilevsky, like that's basically the only guy I could think of because he won the cup last year. Jordan Binnington, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know, but it's like you got the Band-Aid backup who looks great when he's in the net.
Can't stay healthy.
But he plays one game and he's done.
And then you got Hutch, who has been way better than he was last year, but is still Hutch. Like
he's still third string goaltender.
There's a ceiling there for Hutch.
It's a hard position, and you look towards Freddie re-signing, and it's like, hey, Freddie doesn't re-sign. What's the plan? I don't know.
I've long maintained that they'll give it a whirl with Campbell, but you're right. If he can't stay healthy, they can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But you look at Carey Price in Montreal, guys making $10 million and has been mediocre and is one of the reasons why the goaltender coach got fired mid-game.
Oh, that's something.
And the coach getting fired, and it's like, man, goalies, Andre Bobrovsky, $10 million goalie. Again, I know Florida's doing pretty well, but like if you listen to people talk about Florida's game, they expect more from him. Goaltending is like, I think it is the weirdest position in all of sports.
And you got to be, I always say this, you got to be like a special type of guy to want to be a goaltender.
Yeah,
to have,
for sure.
Like guys wiring pucks at you 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, could hit your noggin any second, and you're concussed.
Yeah,
it's just
or hit you below the belt.
Yeah,
down you go.
Nice. Yeah, honestly.
All right, let's talk about the Winnipeg Jets. 3 games coming up against the Winnipeg Jets. They are now currently in second place in the division, 7 points behind the Leafs.
Yep. 2 games in hand.
2 games in hand, and I think if you look at them on paper, like to sort of make this about Freddie again, if you look at them on paper, like the Leafs are the better team, but Jets have the better goalie.
Not by much.
Yeah.
Like they're not the better team by much. Like Mark Scheifele is just as good as Austin Matthews, in my opinion, in terms of point production and being a two-way center. Like he's a great player. It's gonna be. I know not last week, but I think the week before that, we foreshadowed the Edmonton series, and I was like, they're going to have a tough time.
Yeah.
And they go and play the 3 best games they ever played.
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to sound like a broken record again here, but they're going to have a tough time in these 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, Pierre-Luc Dubois showed what he could do against the Leafs in the playoffs last year, in the bubble playoff. They're no easy out.
No.
Like, no way.
No.
Good goalie, decent defense, pretty solid balanced forward group. It's going to be a great series.
So do you explain the loss to the Habs is just like, that's just the division, and
that goes back to the start of the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you overreact from a 7-1 loss, or do you just go, that was a 7-1 loss, let's move on?
Let's burn the tape.
That's the balance of being a fan, a coach, a general manager in the NHL. It's like, do you just take that 7-1 loss and hang on it and be like, maybe we're not that good? Or do you lose 7-1 and go, you know what? We're tired. We suck tonight. Mm-hmm. It's just another night.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I don't like, to me, it's never as bad. It's never as good.
No.
Montreal's desperate as well. Yeah. They've been on a losing skid, and they had to win a hockey game. So you got 2 teams going in, playing each other, coming off losses. Best 2 teams in the division. Let's see what happens.
So to apply that to the Leafs, it's like it's never as good as like them whooping Edmonton for 3 straight games, but it's not as bad as blowing the 5-1 lead to the Senators. And last night they blew the lead last night. Although I don't think they played. This is the problem I'm having with everyone freaking out. Like, I don't think they were that bad.
No.
I thought they looked tired, and I thought Demko was fantastic.
I thought the first game, they were better. I thought it was one of those weird games. It was kind of like the game they lost to Calgary a couple games ago, where they just they had their chances. They just couldn't get it done. They couldn't get it in the middle of the ice, couldn't get the chances. last night, I thought they got outplayed for the majority of the game, but you go up, you have a lead, you take a bad penalty, it's whatever. They score and then they score again, and it's like, now this game's gone to shit and we think they suck.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this week though, I'm pretty excited for these 3 games.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
too.
gonna lie.
Me too.
It's gonna be legit. It's gonna be a good 3-game little series, and we're gonna see what happens. You get one team winning all 3, you get the other team winning all 3. It could shake up some stuff in the standings.
Well, it's good to have them, like get back, get healthy, back home, get rested.
Yeah.
Like that to me, that's the biggest thing. Like I truly believe like these guys are tired, man.
Yeah.
And when you got guys with like nagging injuries, like
you got Austin Matthews, a guy who scored 1 million games in a row, had a point streak. He comes back, he's cold now.
Yeah.
He's looked pretty cold. Mitch Marner, one of the top point getters in the league, 0 points in the last 2 games, couple -2s. Like, it's just like.
Do you think there's anything to like them looking a bit cute? Like I thought the second game against the Canucks.
I think that's in their nature.
Yeah.
I think that's just like, that's always been kind of a conversation. It's like, get to the puck to the middle of the ice, crash the net.
Yeah.
And Mitch is like one of the best passers in the league, no doubt. But like, yeah, he can get cute sometimes. They can all get cute. It's just like, but then another game goes by, they crash the net, they forecheck, and it's like, oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance.
Yeah,
like, I feel
balance.
you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the fans. I get it if you want to be in one camp or the other, but it's like, it's so hard to keep a well-balanced look on the season when they just win 3 and lose 2. It's like great road. Tavares said it last night. They went from a great road trip to a good road trip.
Yeah.
That's what happens in this league. It can just turn like that on a dime.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Johnny, I was happy to see him get that clapper last night. He needed that.
Yeah.
It was a nice one.
Yeah, but I think we need to start. I want to know like more opinions from the fan base from Tavares. Like, it's just.
Well, do you want to tell them what you texted me last night?
Well, I don't know if that was irrational or not.
Well, no, listen.
Here's what I said. I said he's a third line center.
Yeah. No, but listen, I don't think the problem with that comment is he's making $11 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the problem with that comment.
But that
he
contract
plays
signed.
and he plays and he damn sure skates like a third line center. Man, I love Johnny. Like, I love that he came home. I love that they made him the captain. I love that he's from here. I love that he now owns the Toronto Marlboros. Like,
yeah,
I love it. Like, I love him. But God, he is slow.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's been his knock since day one. No foot speed, and he hasn't eclipsed 100 points once in his career. He had his career high in goals, career high a couple years ago with Marner. It's like, I get when you go out in free agency, you got to pay a premium, but it is sometimes you are watching him being like, yeah, I'm cheering for you, but man, sometimes you have the attributes of a third line center.
Yeah.
Just like, you just want more out of him, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
You just got to hope that he gets it on the rails and he gets it going. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. On that note, we got to get out of here. We'll see everybody this week after the Jets games. If you like the show and you want to check us out more, head to our Instagram at Talkin' Buds Podcast. We're going to end every show now by saying, leave a comment, leave a review, leave us a cheers. Some people were leaving us cheerses this week. Love to see that. Thanks everyone for checking it out. Go Leafs, go.